Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're continuing with Life Makeover. Let's do the sound test. I'm gonna do the mind travel. It's been over half a month since Space death, and despite how discussion, the investigation's results are yet to be out. Hence the moment that the task force leader arrives and a journalist restores him like hermits in a barrel with the devices.
Can you tell us the investigation result of the case? Did Pate Pharmaceuticals have violations in its clinical trials?
Are the company's approval documents of clinical trials legal and compliant? Did the regulator have dereliction of duty?
Is there any solution to the compensation that's been concerning the victim's family?
Upon investigation, Pate Pharmaceuticals indeed conducted criminal offenses in its trial process. Relevant investigation and evidence collection are still in progress. I believe there will be an official result very soon. As for compensation and regulation, we'll pay attention and keep investigating. Thank you.
Please wait, I have another question.
The task force leader does not respond to any further questions. Instead, he nods to the crowd and then leaves in a hurry. There's been no progress in the investigation. The case seems to be much more complicated than I imagined. While I was in thought after watching the interview on TV, I hear someone knocking loudly on the door of the firm.
My dear detective, are you busy now?
Sean, what brings you here?
I planned to visit here a long time ago. It's just that I haven't had any opportunity until today.
Opportunity. Sean seems to be concerned and indecisive. Alas, he raises his head and looks at me and talks to me in sincere, serious tone I never heard before.
Actually, I came here today to ask you for a favor.
As he explained his commission to me in detail, turns out the man who's been nice to Sean and his family is suspected by the police as a man had indirect contact with the suspect at large. And the suspect at large is Farah, a higher up of the Pate Pharmaceutical, also number one culprit of the drug's death. The more I know, the more serious I feel. The case is so special that ordinary people can hardly investigate and let alone find evidence to exclude the man as a suspect. No matter how hard I think about it, I can barely help.
I understand. But I'm worried about Mr. White. He's been suspended from his duties and he's under investigation. He's distressful and doesn't feel well.
Seeing his worried expression, I start to feel low. That Mr. White must also be important to him. The case is tough, but I think there's something I can do, though. Hearing what I had to say, Sean blinks in confused manner. I'll have investigated the case, though I can't guarantee anything. I'll do whatever I can.
I'll rely on you.
Shall we set off now?
Of course.
Since it's gonna be investigated case, why not change it to something neat and cool?
Here we are.
Sean and I arrived at the 7-cent cafe, which has gone viral on the internet, and its signature dishes are healthy salads. I find that hard to believe, but whatever. Just as displayed where the suspect shows up for the most for the last time before he flees. The police think the suspect meets his accomplice here and gets his identity documents for fleeing. The 4 customers at the cafe during this point are deemed suspicious by the police, including Mr. White. First things first, we need to access the surveillance video during the period and locate the most suspicious person so that our investigation can proceed.
What's your plan?
Time to show our performance, darling, my superstar.
What?
I got Sean's in and walked hastily to the counter of the cafe looking rather worried. Excuse us, we lost an expensive necklace in your cafe a while ago. Could you tell us whether you picked up anything that could be our necklace?
Sorry, but can you describe your necklace?
I'm not Sean hinting that he should play his part.
Let me think about it. It's an evening star, customized necklace for spring and fall. The pendant is a butterfly made of 10K blue diamond.
10K diamond necklace is really a bad liar. If we weren't in the same boat with him, I might even think I misheard it. The virus obviously started by such an expensive lot of items and begins to check records.
Sorry, there's no such necklace in our lost and found records.
Maybe it was picked up by the other customers. Could you please show us the surveillance video on that day, please?
Okay, let me check it. The time is a Thursday, half a month ago.
The day seems to have left a deep impression on the waiter as he finds the video on the day quickly.
Some officers happened to check that day's video the other day. The record is right here. Please, have a look.
Wonderful, thanks. And while following the waiter to the staff rest area, we hear a loud beep from the floor.
Welcome to 7-Cent Cafe. Your weight is 100 points, kilograms. Your body fat percentage is high. Please exercise more.
Bobby Barrero not only to find that Sean also steps on the edge of the scale for body weight with 1 foot, and he seems curious about the
I
scale.
never thought this is a scale. Wow, this is pretty responsive.
Welcome to 7-Cent Cafe. Your weight is 85.42 kilograms, and your body fat percentage is... Welcome to 7-Cent Cafe.
Seeing having fun with the scale can help but sigh. No wonder people always say do not judge a book by its cover. Even a superstar like Sean can be childish sometimes. While teasing him in my mind, I take a seat, and at this moment I hear the voice from Varna. Time to do an outfit change. Like in the last update, they added like fancy nails. After surveillance videos at the display channel I fixed on the screen, 7 cafes that was out of the money. At 11:23 a.m., Mr. White came inside the cafe with a shopping bag to receive it after ordering food. At 11:38, the suspect came inside the cafe and took the seat that was blocked by a plant behind Mr. White. At 11:47, Mr. White finished eating and left the cafe. 11:50, the suspect stood up and walked towards the restroom. At 11:55, the suspect directly left the cafe without returning to his seat. At 11:57, a waiter noticed a lost shopping bag while cleaning the table and took it to the staff area. Frowning at the time, Sean and I repeatedly watched the video in which the suspect
In this
showed up.
video, it seems that the suspect didn't contact anyone. Then when did he complete trading? Could it be in the restroom?
And think it over and rule out this possibility. The restroom can be frequently cleaned, and if the accomplice hides anything there in advance, it can be lost or exposed. That's too risky. And if it shows to trade face to face, that's no doubt a way much easier for the police to narrow down the scope of investigation. In that way, the identities can be exposed much faster. Anyway, the cafe doesn't seem to be a perfect trading spot.
It makes sense. Oh, if only the plan had not been there. At least we could see clearly what the suspect did.
And in the video again, and I can help but feel that something's important hidden there. Sean, shall we ask Mr. White for some information?
Okay,
Maybe he
let's
gives
go.
us some clues.
Okay, let's go.
We told the waiter disappeared that we did not find any clues about the necklace and also expressed our gratitude towards him. Before leaving, Sean orders 2 cups of signature coffee, one for me and the other for Mr. White. However, we wait for 20 minutes before the waiter finally packages our coffee and gives it to us apologetically.
I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting. We've been short on people lately. Please, take this mug as your gift. Hope that you'll come back in.
I'm a bit confused as there are many other staff members busy with their work behind the counter. What about the others? I noticed that you also have many takeout orders and you guys must be busy
Yeah.
during the peak
Some
hours.
time ago, our manager quit to take care of her children, and a fellow responsible for takeout packaging suddenly quit too. We haven't found appropriate substitutes yet, so we've been overloaded.
After a chit-chat, the waiter is busy preparing coffee for the other customers. And on our way to the community, it was pleasantly upon what the waiter said. Upon arrival, Sean opens the car door for me,
By
and
the
then
way,
he seems to
do you
remember
still
something.
remember we're here to...
Fancy limited edition Starry Sky mug for members of the 7 Cent Cafe
And these
collected by
gifts
Mr.
are
White.
just our...
Tokens of greetings. Sean nods satisfaction, and then he takes out more than a dozen shopping bags from the trunk like a confident
let's go
king.
upstairs.
Upon hearing
What
that, I
is it?
grab him immediately. I don't look like a mug
Since you
enthusiast,
say
do
so.
I?
Well, maybe an elegant and fresh outfit would be better.
I will try Pastor off. It is not far from the elevator. It pains me to see that Sean carries so many bags by himself. May I carry a few
you
bags
don't
for
have
you?
to. Carrying over a dozen bags is just a piece of cake for me.
Then why not carry these as well?
I hear a clear and cold girl's voice from behind us, and I look back at once, and I see a lovely yet cold, proud girl with several shopping bags in her hand. Shani is obviously close to her as he says no to her without
if we put all
hesitation.
bags together, how can Mr. White tell our gifts apart?
Is there any difference?
Of course, my gifts are more expensive.
The girl shoots Sean a glance and was passing calmly with her bags and says,
Hey, watch your language!
I guess what she really wanted to say was asshole. Seeing that Sean is shocked by what she said, the girl just ignores him and walks
I'm
towards me
Jasmine,
directly.
Sean's younger sister. Nice to meet you. Sorry about what happened just now.
Just call me Teresita and Sean's friend. I don't expect that Jasmine gives me a naughty smile and then gives Sean a meaningful look.
Heard your name many times from somebody.
Is that so? What Jasmine said is out of my expectations, so I look towards Sean and beside me in a confused
It's
manner.
getting late. How about we chat upstairs? Mr. White is expecting us.
After that, Sean grabs a shopping bag from Jasmine and springs into the elevator.
Typical of him. Let's go.
After we enter, Mr. welcomes us hospitality and asks us to take a seat.
I haven't seen you in a while. Eat some fruit and take a rest.
Mr. White, this is my friend I mentioned before.
Nice to meet you. Hope my sudden visit doesn't bother
I'm
you.
more than happy to see you guys. Come, take a seat.
Mr. White, please take these gifts. Let me put them in your room.
You always buy me so many gifts, but that's too many for me. How about taking some to your parents?
Please, the chess and painting tools are especially for Lynn. You must take these.
And these.
Okay, then let me thank you on behalf of Lynn.
Don't mention it.
By the way, Mr. White, how's it going for Lynn? Does he feel better?
Well, he's been taking medicine. The doctor said his bone strength is recovering gradually, but his treatment needs to continue. Excuse me for a while. I need to put the stuff in order first.
Mr. White takes a shopping bag from the floor and cleans them carefully and puts them in a cabinet by the category. Though he lives alone in his home and his clean everything's arranged orderly, he has also good taste in decoration. While there was on, I hear the Varna prompt. Time to change outfits. As Mr. White is occupied for the moment, I asked Sean and Jasmine about the person they mentioned just now. By the way, that Lynn just mentioned, is he the son of Mr. White?
Mrs. White passed away early, and Lynn was brought up by Mr. White alone. Due to osteogenosis imperfecta, Lynn hasn't been well until recent years. When Mr. White is super busy, my sister and I would help take care of Lynn.
I see. After a while, Mr. White comes back
Sean
with a
told me
gift
that
box
you're
in his
collecting
hand.
limited edition mugs of 7 Cent Cafe, right? Luckily, I always ordered takeout from that cafe, so I've collected quite a lot of them. You can take these if you'd like.
Seeing the box full of limited edition mugs, I feel overwhelmed with gratitude. Mr. White is so kind of you, and just one mug
I
would
drink much
do.
less coffee than before. These mugs are no use to me. Just take them.
Well, you should take them. Just for your information, he's not that generous usually.
Oh, I think I'm generous, except that I don't buy your snacks.
That's what makes you a meanie.
Whoa, guess who's a real meanie?
The lovely conversation made Mr. White laugh, who passed their
Homemade
head
dishes are better
affectionately.
for your health. Since I've been free recently, I learned several new dishes. Would you like to have braised shrimp, sweet and sour ribs, and coconut chicken soup for lunch here?
Oh, Mr. White, is the case still not settled? Shall I ask my father to check it?
The case Jasmine brings up, obviously the one that Sean
Don't
commissioned
have
to me.
True blue will never stain. I believe the police will give me a just investigation result.
That's debatable, but whatever.
Ugh, but your work is severely affected. It can't be helped by waiting like this.
Don't worry. I know what I'm doing.
How can I stop worrying about you? Not only Jasmine and I, but even Lynn sent something weird. Mr. White, please, let us help you.
Hearing Sean's sincere words, Mr. White finally
So,
understands why we're
reason
here.
why you're here today is to help me investigate the case?
We want to know more background information and details about the case, so that we can find out the real accomplice earlier.
Knowing Sean's purpose, Mr. White can help us out, and then he decides to tell us about the current situation.
Did has had a great impact. Ever since Pate's higher-ups involved in the case fled to escape punishment, there's been no further clue. To further investigate the case and arrest the culprit, the police are eager to find out the accomplice and get clues from him. But the thing is, the police can't find any record of the contact between the culprit and the accomplice, except for that meeting.
The meeting went smoothly, and maybe they made an agreement. And once there was something wrong, and they could meet as planned. Or maybe there's a third party helping them with their
Third party?
communication.
I never thought about that.
You have a point. Then, do you think there could be any other breakthroughs in this case?
Actually, I have questions. In normal clinical trials, subjects will sign an informed consent. And if the trials are legal and compliant, even though there are accidental deaths, the case should have been resolved through private mediation or legal procedures. However, the higher-ups of the company involved chose to flee. Don't you
Indeed.
think it's so
That
strange?
won't be the whole story, but it's not time to reveal the truth.
Truth, the rumors about the gene therapy trial is real. Since that Mr. White frowns and remains silent, we understand that it's inappropriate to further talk about it. Later, Mr. White has some chit-chat with us and then goes to the kitchen with Sean and Jasmine. And so there's only me sitting in the living room luckily my request house Miko time. Solomon elegant style. After the topic of the case, Mr. White calls a rich lunch for us. And after lunch, Sean takes out the daily medicine for the medical cake and puts it on the table for Mr. White.
We elderly people really can't live without medicine. How I am envious of you youngsters.
Well, Mr. White, when climbing the mountain, a youngster was really envious of you because you were way ahead of him.
That's because you carried too many snacks, okay? Otherwise, how could I eat too much and even vomit?
Teased by Jasmine, John strikes back without hesitation. Here they go again, and I help put the medical kit back. But it's weird because there's no medicine treating OI. And after leaving Mr. White's house, there has been a suspicious cloud in my mind and fretted me somehow.
Why have you been so quiet?
Noticing my last speech, Sean asked with concern. Sean, can we go back to the 7th Sen? I want to check something. The pastor Sean said nothing but took me to the car and sped off to the cafe. And there were now a few guests in the cafe, so I strolled towards the St. Clair.
Is there anything else?
I want to ask you about the two Clairs who resigned recently. I have
you
something.
Miss Sun and Shu?
Obviously, the custodia was due, inquired about the necklace and began
Shu is a
speaking before I
part-time
could finish
clerk
my
here and
words.
responsible for packing takeouts and things like that. He is a really nice guy. A customer once lost a bag of cash here. He was the one who called the police to find the owner. And Miss Sun is a veteran and has been a cashier for 3 or 4 years here. But she is quite reserved, and I'm not so acquainted with her. I don't know much about her. Miss
When
Sun worked
exactly
here
did they
3 weeks
resign?
ago, and Shu, about half a month ago? It seems
Was it
to
Thursday?
be- Oh, it was the day you lost the necklace.
Take out member limited medical box. Pace case deal Thursday. Although the sudden clues in my mind were connected with each
What's
other,
wrong?
breaking me out
Did you
in a
find out
cold
something?
sweat. With a pale face, I looked at Sean's confused eyes and then turned my eyes on to the scale on the ground. I have a bad suspicion and need to check it out. And when the clerk played the same surveillance video, my eyes were glued to the shopping bag in Mr. White's hand. Is the bag also lost
Just
property?
some
What was
ordinary
there
snacks,
inside?
and the owner didn't come back to find it.
By the way, how long can the machine here keep the weighing records?
3 months.
Could you please help me to export all of the weighing data during the time of the surveillance video? Confused as it was, the clerk gave me the weighted records, and I compared the data carefully and finally found out something that had been missing in the video: the
you
weight
find
difference of the
something?
shopping bag. Looking at Sean's eyes, I found it hard to tell him about it. A message from Myra spared me, I replied briefly. We just had a breakthrough, but time to also change outfits again. This is a fashion mystery show. After, after sitting in a quiet corner, I explained my
Did you mean
speculation
that
to
Mr.
Sean.
White is the accomplice? How could it be?
Upon hearing my words, Sean found it hard to believe and shook his head in denial. I know it's hard to swallow, but it's the most reasonable impossibility for the moment. Mr. White hid the item for trade in the shopping bag, and then the suspect took the greenery as a corner to steal the item. And that's why there is a 325 weight difference of the bag, and we can deny this fact. Well, maybe the weight difference was probably caused by maybe the guy went to the can, so he dropped like 5 pounds of weight. Sean obstinately kept shaking his head, murmuring to
Mr.
himself
White
as
would
a
not do such a
self-comfort.
thing. Never.
In silence, Sean lowered his head, and it could be distress and flickering in his eyes, and then he
We
clenched
need to
his hand
find him.
fiercely.
Now. I believe he can explain it all.
We were in the low sphere when visiting Mr. Whitehouse, and Mr. White
Hey,
noticed there
what
was something
happened?
wrong at that
Why do
glance.
you look so white-faced?
See, he meant long face, but whatever. Sean raised his head and looked into Mr. White's eyes, opening his
Mr.
mouth
White,
after a moment of
was it
hesitation.
really an accident that you and the suspect showed up in the cafe at the same time?
Of course. Or what else would I do?
Then did you really not place something special in your shopping bag?
Mr. White turned pale and looked at
What do you
Sean with
mean?
shock and disbelief.
Are you suspecting me?
I just want to know if there were identity files that the man used to escape in your bag.
Facing Sean's blank question, Mr. White's face turned gray and his voice turned harsh.
Do you really know what you are saying?
Sean took out his phone and handed it to Mr. White and played
You
the
took a
surveillance
shopping
video
bag
he
with you
shot.
that day, and in it were snacks that you would never buy. You are a neat freak and always keep things in order, but you placed the bag straight on the floor that day, and you even forgot to take it away with you. You were suspended from your job, and even after you stopped ordering takeouts from 7 Cent, a clerk there resigned suddenly. Lynn's health had an improvement 3 years ago, and Pate Pharmaceuticals happened to enter the pharmaceutical market in that year. Mr. White, I don't intend to suspect you, but you need to explain these.
Explain? For what?
With a dark face, Mr. White stared at
You
Sean
two just
gravely.
listed some trifles and tried to suspect my innocence. What evidence do you have to convict me and ask for my testimony?
The evidence is aware of the shopping bag. I stepped forward and took out the records of the weighing machine. There was nothing missing from your bag but the weight. But the weight was 325 grams less after you left. You hid something inside of it and left it at the suspect's feet on purpose so you could complete the transaction unnoticed. Mr. White trembled a little and his eyes tinged with despair and malice.
How could you know? Who told you all these? Tell me!
Mr. White, calm down.
Mr. White pushed Sean away who tried to come forward, but his fury on his
My
face.
efforts have gone in vain because of you!
Hearing it, Sean was frozen and his
It's
voice was
you.
trembling in shock.
Really? Mr. White, why would you do this?
For Lynn! My poor son!
Mr. White scowled and rolled at them in a pathetic voice, and a few white hairs were scarcely messing
He
up
was
his
not born
forehead.
With a healthy body. He doesn't have a carefree childhood and will gradually lose his hearing. It's not fair. Why should others be born healthy and my son has to suffer? Why?
So you collaborated with paid pharmaceuticals and let Link take the drugs they were developing in the dark. But you have seen that they literally took their patients as experimental targets. It's dangerous.
The drugs I got are different from those unfinished products. Stop your nonsense! I won't risk my son's life!
Mr. Watson revealed the fact behind the lies for Sean finally. Also, he used a bunch of people for experimentation in order to find a cure for his son's condition. Her look in disbelief at the crazy and reckless man, as if he was changed into a total stranger. Sean faltered back in misery and left here without looking back. Looking at Sean's back, Mr. White showed a bitter and remorseful face. On his weathered face, burning tears streamed down slowly from the corner of his eyes. And when she said to Sean that there was not a single trace of him in the empty community, and he didn't answer my call. And I searched around anxiously and texted Jasmine about the current situation. Jasmine texted back an address and soon told me to meet her there. When we got there, we saw Sean sitting on a bench as expected. Jasmine and I stopped our steps and couldn't help but breathe in a sigh of relief. Sean was lowering his head and making a paper butterfly in silence and looking fragile and perplexed.
Every time when he tried to escape from something, he would stay alone in a secluded place, like here. In fact, he knew how to deal with Mr. White's business better than anyone, but he just found it hard to do that. I will get back to Mr. White for a talk, so please take care of Sean for me.
Can I really be of help?
You're also important to Sean, and he will take your words carefully.
Jasmine's words surprised me a little and somehow made me hesitant. Can I really help Sean sort out his mind? Maybe this time I should listen carefully to his inner voice. And I changed into an experienced mature outfit as Mr. White, which would suddenly remind Sean of him. Alright then. It's a little psychotic, but whatever. I gently walked to Sean, hearing my footsteps. He raised his head and was surprised to see my face. While Sean was in trances, I didn't hesitate any longer and concentrated on activating mind simulation and to mind reading. Seeing recall, reconstruct worlds of memories to be entered and ready. I haven't done that in a while. I didn't expect it to be such a beautiful planet, dreaming in tranquil like a real fairy tale world. Okay, creepy scarecrow. Everything on this planet is so simple and warm, like Sean himself. The only thing he's afraid of is perhaps that all of this happiness and bonds in his life will flow away with the wind. That's also why the scarecrow will look sorrowful after losing contact with the little butterfly. After experiencing Sean's in the world, I seem to get insights into Sean's mind gradually. Maybe Mr. White is like one of his family, even though he's such a thing, and he never thought of severing the bond with him. On the contrary, what he fears most is to lose his precious and loved tie. And what I need to do is make him believe in his heart. Sean, what do you think about Mr. White's business? Sean lowered his eyes silently and looking like a helpless child.
No.
I understand Mr. White is a family of yours, so you can accept those mistakes he made, but you can't escape from it as if nothing has happened.
I know.
Sean held a paper butterfly in his hand, and his bright eyes were filled with distress and remorse.
So terrible that I have kept on saying I love Mr. White, but it ends up that I never noticed his despair. If I could do more for Lynn's health, maybe Mr. White would not have done this.
Dude, you're like a pop star, yo. If like your money can't buy like a healing cure for the kid, then the father had like in his desperation, of course he was gonna do like super secret illegal human gene therapy experimentation. Sean, there's something that cannot be changed with only our efforts. Mr. White just cannot see the reality, and he has borne too much burden and guilt, and step by step made such a big mistake. But you're different. You still have the chance to change all of these. He has to convince Mr. White not to make further mistakes. Well, we could find out. The police will find out sooner or later. Unless he will plunge deeper, we should awaken him to his mistakes. Only in this way can he turn back to the Mr. White you love. But if you refuse to escape from this and do nothing, you will lose him for real. Because maybe if he confesses, he'll get lesser jail time. You'll probably see him in like 40 years or something. Hearing my words, Sean raised his head in a tremble. Unknowingly, his eyes were reddish and his voice was low and hoarse. I believe he won't. After the butterfly with Sean, I held tight in my palm, and a gust of wind blew over it, and the wings of the paper butterfly flapped lightly as if it was really dancing. Look, whenever there's wind, butterflies will flap their wings. And it's the same for humans. As long as there is love, the bond between you and Mr. White will never disappear. And maybe Mr. White is like you and has figured it all out, but he's afraid to face reality. Sean, please listen to your inner voice. You have long known the answer, right? Sean stared at the butterfly in a trance, and his eyes reflected a bluish glow. As if he straightened out his thinking, he looked finally relaxed and smiled bitterly.
It was me who said these to ease your anxiety last time. I have never thought that one day I will listen to your advice, little girl. Looks like you have grown up a lot.
Cause like, he touched down to me like that, cause like he used to babysit me. Out of shyness, I turned my head and cleared my throat in silence. I am not so much younger than you, and it is time for me to grow. And it's time for me to grow and mature, mature and dependable. With a small shout nod and an agreement and patted my head gently. She hadn't contacted me after the day and even scarcely showed up for work. And his fans were surprised by his sudden change in schedule, but I knew he was doing something of great importance. After 3 months, the paid lethal drug case finally saw the conclusion of the first hearing. As soon as the prosecutor came out, other reporters rushed forward with their microphones.
Please, is there anything you can reveal to us?
What is the compensation for the victims' families? When will the result be announced to the public?
The case is going smoothly, and all the people involved will be sentenced one by one according to the law. The court will also deal leniently with suspects who confess their crimes with great remorse. As for the compensation for the victims' families, we still need to wait for the conclusion of the second trial.
Looking at the prosecutor's answer in the interview, I was relieved from the ongoing anxiety. As I stared, one effort things began to progress in a good direction. Suddenly there was somebody knocking on the door, and in the next moment a familiar figure showed up under the dazzling
Miss
sunlight.
Detective! It's been a long time.
Sean, with a bright smile, waved his hands toward me, and he looked still so warm and charming, while I somehow was lost in a daze. And after a day of separation, I hadn't seen him for over 3 whole months. Maybe it had been too long, and he looked different, but I couldn't tell. Have you been been busy lately?
Kinda, but it's all over.
Sean's voice was thin with fatigue, but
It's
also with
because of you
gentleness
that
and
things can
composure.
come to an end so fast.
Then what
He's
about
okay.
Mr. White now?
Jasmine and I have been taking care of Lynn recently. Don't worry. I come here... Actually, I came here to give you something.
Sean took out a delicate box from his pocket and handed it to me, and then he touched his
The
nose
agreed
sheepishly.
remuneration. I racked my brain for it for a long time, but I still thought I should give you this.
What is it? What's this? I curiously opened the small blue velvet box, and a beautiful butterfly bracelet was lying there. The delicate carved ice blue wings on it shone with gorgeous dazzling light, as if the butterfly would start dancing at any
I
moment.
wanted to give you this a long time ago, as a gift for our re-encounter. I have tried to give it to you before, but I always failed to find a proper time. And I didn't know if you would like it.
Sean kept mumbling to himself, and on his face there was nervousness that could be seen rarely. Of course I love it, but it's too expensive, I can't take it.
What is the most important is whether you like it.
Sean's eyes were glowing with charm, and he suddenly tied the
It has been a
butterfly
long
to my
waiting for
wrist.
you, so you have to take it.
Sean's voice was gentle and sensitive, and his eyes were glowing softly like diamonds, shining bright like a diamond. Only at this moment did it strike me that little butterfly that the scarecrow kept waiting for in the fairy tale-like world. Only at this moment did I realize something. I accepted the most precious of gifts ever and couldn't help being touched. Thank you, I'll take care of it.
Your master has accepted you, so stay with her and ensure her safety from now on.
Sean poked the butterfly on my wrist. The way he talked to it amused me. The way that he looked was now recall of me as a little boy I first met years ago. It was his childish but warm smile like this that helped me survive those difficult years of my childhood. Perhaps now it was my turn to stay by his side and protect him. to hold his hand and spend together the long years ahead. Alright, this is a good place to leave it. I hope you find it amusing. Explore Life Makeover. Bye bye and God bless.